There is a light at the end of the tunnel, everyone. It's Deep Dive Zone, a Sonic review series for fans of all shapes and sizes. I'm your host, Devin, joined as usual by my comrades Lauren and Bruce. And guys, things got a little heavy last week, so we are keeping it chill Dive Zone here. We are keeping it low-key. We're not going to be shouting. Doesn't mean that the comics are going to be that much better, but I'm going to not...
I don't think there's really anything this week that should get us as riled up.
They're pretty low-key comics, actually.
Actually, there's some things that I like in these. I guess that's true almost every week.
Yeah, I mean,
not always. Right. Some of those fucking sword chapters were utterly vapid, but
well, yeah, they were just boring as hell.
Anywho, we're starting here with Sonic the Hedgehog number 151, and they finally decided to drown him.
They're finally killing him. It's about fucking time.
I don't get what this cover is even related
to
the issue.
I think it's just a joke on the title.
Reminds me of the early comics with just random covers.
Yeah, honestly.
Well, so it says sink or spin, sink or swim, whatever. If it were about Sonic having to hold something together, which, if you were reading between the lines of how Evil Sonic has fucked up his relationship with all the women in the series... That would be one thing, but that's not actually what this story is about.
No, it really isn't.
Uh-huh.
This is Chaos Emeralds Are Forever, Penders and Mawini. Sonic awakes surrounded by enemies in a world not his own, and has to figure out how to get home, stop the Master Emerald from being stolen, and defeat Anti-Sonic.
Sonic's got a lot to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the other side of the story in 150, where, Sonic is waking up in Anti-Mobius.
Which I like they're actually showing us the other sides, showing Sonic's perspective.
Yeah, and, it shows off, I think there's some designs here that are not quite how the Evil Freedom Fighters looked before.
Yeah, I think we've gotten some redesigns.
They do look different a little bit somehow.
They feel different, I think, to me at least.
I think this
glad
is also,
to see them again now.
I think this is also the only time, or the first time, that we've seen this dimension's version of Bunny.
Yes, this is the first time we've seen Anti-Bunny that I can remember.
True.
She doesn't have robot parts, and that's our Antoine in the back. So I guess he drew a fake scar on.
Yeah, I thought that was our Antoine. He's really taken to being Patch.
Why, you gotta blend in to survive.
I know. I'm impressed because I don't know. Antoine and Patch seem different enough. I'm surprised he can take to it so quickly or so easily because he hasn't been here that long.
I would expect nothing less of Antoine. Are you kidding me?
You know what? Actually, fair. Yeah, no, that's definitely something Antoine could do.
That. He's been here for months. Remember, they said that it was.
Oh right, yeah.
Into Sonic Space Trip.
Right. That's true.
And importantly,
in that case, yeah, never mind.
Antoine's forte is talking the big talk, so I would think he would be good at actually seeming really tough.
Well, and importantly, we're seeing. I don't know how well the Anti-Freedom Fighters get along with each other, but what we're seeing here is that all of them fucking hate Anti-Sonic specifically.
Well, Anti-Sonic is he's betrayed. He's betrayed all of them. He's horrible to them, so I'm not surprised they hate him.
Yeah. And we do learn from Anti-Bunny here that Anti-Sonic sleeping around with women started in this universe. He's just been ruining all of his personal relationships.
I mean, is that really that surprising?
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
I mean, no, it's not surprising, but I do think that if it were a case of making the excuse of, oh, it's an alternate universe, my actions don't matter here, but
no, I mean, I'm not that surprised to learn that Anti-Sonic, he goes for all the girls.
What a piece of shit, as we've
yeah, discussed. He's a piece of shit. We've established this.
Yeah, the entire first part of this is just Prime Sonic getting beaten up until eventually he'll fight back. Not quite yet, because we do see the follow-up to last time, which is thankfully not so much horny as scheming, which is that Anti-Sonic, our Anti-Sonic... You know, anti-Sonic, not anti-Sonic, Sonic dressed as anti-Sonic.
Yeah, the actual anti-Sonic.
This is already confusing. He's cavorting with Rouge to steal the Master Emerald.
Right.
Yeah, luckily Rouge is only interested in gems. Evil Sonic has a weird line here, though, because he's like, oh, what a doll. Where was she on my Mobius? Wait a second. Are you telling me Rouge isn't on Evil Mobius? How does that make any sense?
I mean, maybe he just hasn't met Anti-Rouge?
Yeah, we have no idea what her personality would be. Maybe she likes taxes or something. I don't know.
She's an IRS agent.
Oh my gosh.
Anywho, the thing is, their plan is basically the same as before, with Rouge trying to seduce Locke again.
Because, you know, that's going to work the second time.
Well, it does, in that now there's a second person to run behind him and get the emerald.
Right.
It is very funny that Archimedes, like, teleported Rouge away, but then they can just fly. So they just flew back.
Right. It's like, yeah, that's going to work really well.
And now I guess Archimedes just isn't here, because I don't think he's in this issue, is he?
No, he's like, crisis averted, and he just leaves.
Yeah, he just dips out. He's like, alright, my work here's done.
And Locke cannot be trusted, so he actually does fall for it the second time.
Yeah, it actually does.
Anyway, so yeah, finally after this, we see Sonic start to fight back at all, and it's really weird, because we have this bit where Sonic and Antoine are fighting, neither of them realizing that they're the real versions of each other.
Well, so I thought at this point he actually does start. Antoine starts wondering if this is actually Sonic.
He wonders, but he like shrugs it off because
I guess that's what's going on.
I can't let my guard down.
Yeah, because he's already established this world is kill or be killed.
Exactly. I would actually love to see how he like got into this mode.
Well, I mean, to be honest, I mentioned before we knew that Prime Antoine right now is Patch. I mentioned before that his change could have just been due to PTSD. It could be a similar thing here. He's changed. This world has changed him.
Antoine gets traumatized in every universe.
Damn it!
It's a universal
poor bastard.
Constant.
Oh, the poor bastard.
Yeah, well, and Sonic probably actually throws him off more, because since Sonic doesn't know that's the real Antoine, he's fighting harder, which is going to make him less likely.
Right.
You know, Antoine, if Sonic were holding back, Antoine might be more suspicious.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
But the long and short of all this is that Sonic beats up specifically Anti-Rotor, which I guess makes sense, and is like, hey, take me home.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, because he still has another... What is it called? I don't remember what the device is called.
The anti-defense... Who cares? It's a teleporter. Okay. The thing is, when he talks to him, I'm wondering what happens between this and Sonic getting back, because the next time we see Sonic, he's back in his original universe.
Right.
So, what happened to the others? I mean, like, he threw the girls in a lake, but, like, did anybody follow him and Rotor when they had to get the new thingy? And if so, did he not explain, I'm not Anti-Sonic?
I guess...
I'm sure they probably figured it out, and that's why they didn't bother following him.
Well, the problem is that then Antoine totally would have followed him, but...
Yeah, whatever.
The rest of them weren't following, and so if he suddenly tried to sneak off, that could be suspicious. Plus, I feel like there was a line about there only being 2 devices or something.
Yeah, there was. I
believe
there was.
Sonic took the other one then.
Right.
I guess. Right. I just imagine that even if you know, if he got wind that this was our Sonic, Antoine would just make a run for it. But
yeah, I'm kind of surprised that doesn't end up happening.
There's a reason that it cuts between them, and it's because Penders was planning something for later, and he couldn't just put him back. So
sure.
I mean, the rest of them were all knocked out. Rotor would figure it out, send him back, and then Rotor would probably tell them later, and by that point, Antoine wouldn't have a chance.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess that makes as much sense as anything.
Yeah, so Anti-Sonic makes it to the Emerald Altar, but he gets caught in the act. I do want to mention that this is where the hilarious panel of him doing the shimmy down the stairs saying, "Oh yeah, time to grab the booty" comes from.
This is the second time that an Archie meme involving Sonic hasn't actually been Sonic.
That's
Yeah,
true.
'cause we had it with Manic just a week or two ago.
I'm still disappointed that wasn't Sonic looking at himself.
But our Sonic gets back to catch him in the act.
Conveniently just in time.
I feel like a lot of times recently we've had sort of jumping between plot points with Penders without a clear directive of how they got there. I guess in the Good, Bad, and the Unknown they did tell it in medias res, or however you say that. They told it backwards, but
Yeah.
they talk trash, they fight, etc.
Anti-Sonic calls Sonic a simp
Yes, he does.
before bashing his skull in.
I don't know what connotation did that term have in 2005?
It just means simpleton.
Okay.
I think that's still technically what it means.
I guess that is technically still what it means, but nowadays it's associated with, you know...
Because I've heard the term simp in as far back as like the 70s in an episode of MASH. So...
Anyway, I can't believe that Penders made Rouge kiss Knuckles' horrible dad. He's also drawn wrong in this comic because his stripes are white instead of brown.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm not surprised at a miscolor like that.
I mean, yeah, I can't be all that surprised by miscolor anymore.
I'm wondering if it looks better that way.
Maybe a little bit.
Conveys his age slightly, or it just makes him look like Pachacomic, but
I think that's it.
Anywho,
I do like this moment where Locke is actually really clever, because he's like, oh, two Sonics. Wait a minute, that one's trying to bash the other one's head in with a rock. Probably not Sonic.
Yeah, the real Sonic's probably not gonna do that.
Real Sonic would never call somebody a simp.
That's not true, I don't think.
No, Sonic would definitely call someone a simp.
90s to early 2000s, Archie Sonic would call you plenty of different slurs.
Oh, yes, he would.
Anywho, I'm realizing that, like, this plan is still really weird, because I guess Rouge was just expecting that she would mess around with Locke and then just see Anti-Sonic carrying the emerald and they'd both just run away.
Yeah, pretty sure that was the plan.
Yeah, I guess so.
Also, I don't know what kind of magic powers we've seen Locke use up to this point. I didn't know that using the Force was one of them, because he just yeets Sonic, Anti-Sonic out of the cave with telekinesis.
Which doesn't surprise me even slightly. Emerald powers do whatever they need to.
Yeah,
Have you been paying attention?
Yeah, chaos powers are literally whatever they're needed to do.
I know. I don't know if we've seen that specific one before.
You're not
Emerald
wrong.
powers do whatever they need to do. They've done so many different things, trying to restrict them to any set of abilities.
Knuckles is literally a walking version of that mantra.
I guess.
Yeah, the only difference is Locke can't do complete and utter nonsense, but he can do a lot of stuff still.
He can.
Yeah, you're probably right. So, yeah, he throws Anti-Sonic out of there with Rouge, and I'm realizing that this is funny, because I think the next time we see both of these characters, they're trying to do the exact same thing again.
Of course they are.
That, honestly, that's on brand for Rouge. I mean, they're tenacious.
Actually, Anti-Sonic does show Rouge that he stole a gem?
This really confused me, because they don't explain what this is.
Yeah.
And maybe they do much later, but not in any of the issues tonight.
Well, he says, I didn't get the Chaos Emerald, which that's the Master Emerald, so you're already making one mistake. But I did pick up a few odds and ends, and it looks like a Chaos Emerald. I want to say that, like, either this is just a jewel that's, like, not magic, or maybe this is, like, the Guiding Star Gem or something?
I don't know why it would just be lying around.
Wouldn't Knuckles still have it?
Maybe it's another...
I would also... I think it's just a random gem. I would also like to point out, you said, oh, mistake, Chaos Emerald. Evil Sonic wouldn't know that it's the Master Emerald.
Yeah, he wouldn't know what the Master Emerald is.
Yeah, but Locke calls it that earlier as well, so...
Oh, well...
Yes, it would make sense for Archie Sonic to call that, but I think this is Pendersism.
Probably.
And, well, we end with Sonic finally returning home and being very confused on why Amy and Bunny are... Well, I guess Amy's not that confusing, but Bunny, it would be confusing as to why she's coming on to him.
I'm confused as to why Bunny is coming on to him. She seemed like... In the last issue, she seemed like... She was like, oh, it's like all a weird dream. Like, kind of with regret. So to be like, oh, hey... This issue doesn't sound
writing inconsistencies.
This is the thing, is that again the explanation, it is going to be very unclear in the upcoming issues exactly what level of understanding there is between Sonic and these girls.
Right.
Sometimes it'll seem like he apologized, sometimes it'll seem like he didn't explain at all what happened. Sometimes it seems like he doesn't know anything that happened. You'd think that at some point somebody would...
I would already assume he only has like a loose idea of what happened.
You'd think that at some point one of these women would be like, hey Sonic, remember we kissed? And he'd be like, that didn't happen.
Yeah, no I don't.
But that's the other part of why I think that Penders' plan was to just have them not talk and just bumble their way into various relationship drama.
God help us all.
Well, thankfully we're getting away from that.
Right.
We do have one nice thing in this issue, which is homosexuality. This is our other story for the issue. It is called Stargazing, and it is written and drawn by Tanya Del Rio, someone who has never worked on these comics before and rarely did after this. In the middle of the night, Sally awakens when Nicole starts behaving weirdly. When she heads outside, she discovers something she never could have expected. I didn't want to spoil it in the description.
That's fair.
So for starters, totally different art style than we're used to in these comics.
Yeah, this is an interesting art style.
I do not hate the art.
Yeah, neither do I.
But Sally's face is so wrong. She looks like a different character.
That's true. The art, it's a very anime art style in a different way than we've seen before.
It's definitely odd.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it though.
Well, it's what is it? Skilled, but not quite to our preferences, probably.
I guess,
not
yeah.
Consistent.
I think that might be the problem. It's got some inconsistencies.
It's not very Sonic, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So Sally is awoken, or rather, she just wakes up and like Nicole is like glowing.
Yeah.
Well, not just glowing. There's something coming out of Nicole.
Yeah, the power of green.
Also a shadow.
Yeah. So yeah, Sally wakes up and she's like, Nicole, why are you not active? And she heads outside the castle because she saw something head out there. And well, look at that.
You know, this doesn't surprise me, but I'm surprised it happened so soon.
I thought it was going to be a while. Yeah, I was like,
I
wonder if the other one
to be like after Flynn's run started, to be honest.
Yeah. It is. I didn't know that this story existed during Flynn's run because I read that first, and so I saw this corporeal body for Nicole appear in that run. I was like, oh, that's cool that she got that. I didn't know that it came here first.
Yeah, it's very sudden.
Yeah, well, and this is our follow-up to she got inspired last week by the time they switched bodies.
Yeah, it's like I'm not surprised that it's happening because Nicole clearly got something out of being in Sally's body, even just for... Well, we don't know how long she was in Sally's body, but as far as we're aware, it wasn't
that
very
comic
long.
Was really weirdly paced. But yeah, and this is really, really cool to me because, A, it's making Nicole a proper physical person, you know, with her own... it's not a super strong impression of her character here. I mean, mostly just that she wants to have a form at all, which is, I guess, relatable.
To me, it kind of gives me the idea of that she wants some sense of freedom.
Yeah, but it's also that, it's following up on very, very old concepts for the character, because way back in Sad AM, the original character was supposed to have originally been a person that was transformed into a computer, and now we've got kind of the other way around here.
Right.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I must have forgotten about that also.
Yeah, no, it's basically just the two of them talking, but with a very, very intimate framing to all these panels.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm blind to the such things, but I didn't notice.
I sort of got it. I got it was also it's a very kind of somber story writing.
It's very melancholy. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
totally different atmosphere than I'm used
Especially,
to in those comics.
it's a very different atmosphere just from the last story.
Yeah. Well, it's just, a radically different writing style is what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
it's two characters talking about their feelings properly, rather than
Holy
just
shit.
it's like, no, don't talk about shit. Just keep the plot, my bad plots moving forward. Sorry, I need to not.
Shit, his bad plots barely go forward in the first place.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's tender. It's emotional.
It is. It's an interesting story. I enjoyed it.
I
And-
appreciate that we actually got follow-up from that last story so quickly.
Yeah,
That's good. I mean, it justifies the other story that felt like it was cut short.
it really does.
Well, and for so long, Sally, as we've mentioned, has been this miasma of misery with nobody to talk to, and I like making Nicole into a person that she can talk to, even if she's mostly talking about herself right now.
Yeah, no,
Mhm.
that's a good way to look at it also.
So, hell yeah, women. Anyway, Sonic number 152, and oh god.
The cover's definitely something.
It implies something very different is going on in this issue than it's actually about.
It really does.
Also, Rouge is on the cover. She's not in this comic.
We ran out of women folk.
I don't know how to respond to that, so I'm going to move forward. This comic is all one story, but it's another one of those ones where despite being one story, it's split into two stories.
Right.
So the first part of this here is called Dr. Robotnik in Engage, Ken Penders and James Fry. James Fry, I haven't seen him in forever.
Yeah.
And, well, I mean, it's basically just setting up this where Adam unleashes this destructive force to impress his master.
Right.
Yeah, as far as solo Eggman stories go, the first one was really great. The rest have been a total letdown. And so I guess this one ranked kind of mid-ish, in my opinion at least, because we have some really great shots here, at least art-wise, of Eggman. I really like how when he pounds his fist against the computer.
Well, and we're continuing with Gray's design for the lab with all of the giant screens and the suspended chairs and monitors.
Which is a very cool design for the lab. I like that a lot.
True.
And we have Adam being very menacing, looking for the most effective way to attack things. Well, it's like Eggman says, "How do I beat Sonic?" And Adam's like, "There's other stuff you could do." And Eggman's like, "No, fuck you, figure it out."
No,
So-
Sonic asshole.
Adam's response to this is to basically instigate a Grey Goo event.
Yeah, pretty much.
You're great.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Nice.
kind of what it is.
It's true. I mean, yes, it's
that's a
nanomachines
term
devouring the entire planet. You're
That's
right.
a term I haven't heard in a long time.
I didn't know it was a term. I thought it was just a reference.
I think it's a trope. Well, I know it as a trope.
It's
Huh?
it's a real sci-fi concept about nanites expanding by consuming all matter.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got
Although
it.
Yeah.
I suspect that Lauren and I's first exposure to it was a little game called Tasty Planet.
I did not know it was a trope. I just thought you were referencing that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know it as the trope.
it was always on the computers at OMSI.
Oh, heck yeah.
God.
Total OMSI. Yeah, I really like that Adam beforehand is like, it'll take you 116 years at this rate. Like, he has a very precise measurement according to his current strategy.
Of course he does. He's a machine.
It's just funny.
Adam is kind of like Eggman's Nicole.
Basically, yeah.
Basically.
It's not that he's sarcastic exactly, but he always has some good response.
He's always got a good machine response.
Yeah.
Another thing I actually like about this too is we get some look into sort of how Eggman just sort of feels on a personal level about his current state, because he's like, after talking with Adam, he's like, well, now if you'll excuse me, I must seek out my daily nourishment. The way he puts it like that, I immediately was like, oh, okay, he doesn't like enjoy food like the classic Robotnik did. He thinks of it just as a chore.
Right. Well, because he's been a machine for so long. This is just another thing that he feels like he has to do.
Yeah.
He actually says, "How I long for my original construct form instead of this weak and pathetic biological shell."
Yeah.
Very robot speak.
Did the BEM like disable robotization? Is that why he can't do it to himself again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody
I
can
don't
be
get how that
roboticized
works.
except for those copies of the Goon Squad that we got a while back from Anonymous.
Right.
But this doesn't have anything to do with that, probably. Instead, yeah, like we said, we've got this giant nanite bomb, and it's going after the wolf pack who are in this comic for some reason.
It's the 2 human kids they adopted that I forgot even existed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we haven't...
They've probably been around when the wolf pack is on screen. The problem, the wolf pack is like, they really don't have much play in these comics. Even when they have stories
really
about them, they don't even fight stuff, really.
The stories that are about them really just ends up being set up for other things.
Yeah.
I didn't check, but are you sure the human kids have been around? Because, like, the whole
I don't
wolf
think
pack
they
got
have been.
roboticized. So, like,
Yeah,
where were
and
they then?
I don't think the kids got roboticized.
I feel like the writers literally forgot they existed, and then they remembered they existed here.
I would have to check. I think the last time we saw that Wolfpack story was the one with Chuck. So
Yeah.
I would have to see if they were in that one. Well, they're there in the background with extremely limited coloring. I can't blame Lauren for not seeing them.
That's maybe possible.
Yeah.
So obviously, again, that's just the setup to it. So there's not really an ending to this other than there's something dangerous.
Right.
Which immediately follows into the next story, which is called Sonic's Angels, written by Penders, drawn by both John Gray and middle of the story switching into Al Bigley, which is very jarring.
It is super jarring.
Yeah.
Left by Eggman to expand territory on his own, Adam unleashes a storm of nanites onto Mobius, creating a rapidly expanding city that threatens to consume all matter. So yeah, we enter on Sonic meeting the briefing about this nanite storm, and Sally acts like a prick because I guess Penders hasn't been reading the comics where she's been a little bit better. I don't know.
Has she been getting a little bit better? I mean, maybe like for isolated moments when she has to, like, you know, do something for a mission or whatever, but not really overall.
I mean, to be honest, the only moments she's really gotten better is the moments that were in stories that were clearly written before the slap.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, we talked about the Dear Alley column, which kind of was better, but maybe wasn't. That was a really confusing.
Sonic wasn't there, so that's why she was better.
Yeah,
exactly.
But it's also annoying because when she snaps at Sonic, Sonic says, "Ouch, wish I knew if that was aimed at me because of me or my evil double." So he obviously knows that evil Sonic did something here, but we're going to see later in this that it's... Yeah, anywho.
I don't know.
2 teams going out here. We've got one consisting of Rotor, Tommy, Tails, and Chuck, and the other consisting of Sonic, Amy, Fiona, Bunny, and Mina. Mina?
Being sent out on missions again for some
Mina's not a
reason.
freedom
Mina's
fighter,
been around.
No.
Mina's
Not
been around on missions already.
Yeah, she has, even though she already established she doesn't want to be a freedom fighter.
Too bad, I guess.
Apparently.
Like, Fiona at least had a backstory that forced her into action situations. Mina has had explicit stories explaining she's not cut out for this.
Right.
So, very, very odd.
Yeah.
But yes, the Nanite City is interesting.
It's definitely an interesting idea.
They say it kind of looks like Robotropolis, but Gray's art for it portrays it more like 1984-ish.
Yeah, no. Well, the conform and obey shit, yeah.
Yeah.
Granted, Robotropolis' design kind of changed depending on who was drawing it.
True.
Yeah, that's fair. We do have... Yeah, I don't know. It's Sonic on a team with all the girls, and they go in here, Sonic's like hanging down from a rope. I'm not sure where exactly he is inside. I guess he's underground.
Yeah, he's underground.
I think it's just... I don't quite know... It doesn't seem like they know exactly what they're looking for.
Yeah, they kind of just seem to be
Even their
coming
plan, now that I
here.
think about it.
I don't think they have a plan yet.
It's funny, actually. I'm looking back here that Rotor, during the briefing, asks any questions, and Sonic says, just one, how do we stop this thing? And then we don't hear what his response is before we
They
cut to them.
intentionally skip over that, yeah. So I guess they
Yeah.
probably have a plan, but I don't know why it's hidden from the readers, and honestly, I don't know if it's even explained later.
Yeah.
Their plan kind of just seems to be, let's bumble around until we figure out something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or until something horrible happens. And,
Yeah.
oh, look, something horrible happens.
I mean, it was bound to happen. We're in a creepy sewer.
The looks of panic on Sonic and Rotor's face are absolutely hilarious. I especially like the side view when he's like looking at Tommy.
I like the emphasis on Rotor's tusks. That's a good design. But
That's
yes,
a good design.
Bunny gets grabbed by nanite-formed arms?
But they're also like dripping in green
like
goo. I don't. It's weird. It's sufficiently creepy though.
Yeah.
It's just the rule of creepy. There's no
It really is.
Hey, fun fact, this drawing of Tommy on this page, in the original drafts, Gray tried to give him a hat to make his design slightly more interesting, and they cut it out in the edit.
That's hilarious.
Tragic. So, after they're like, well, let's go and save Bunny, Snively.
Yeah, just sudden Snively. What? All right. Well, at least we know he's alive.
Yeah. But he was
Well,
gone
why
for
is he
so
here?
long.
Why is he here, though?
Back. Yeah, in the most random place possible. Like, really? With no explanation?
Yeah, no explanation. Just like, oh, Snively's here now. Like, what?
We have not seen him in the flesh. I say in the flesh specifically because there was that weird robot. But we have not seen him for 34 issues. And
damn, it's been that long?
I feel that how long it's been. That doesn't surprise me.
No, I'm surprised. Man.
And clearly, I assume that Ballers was setting something up with him being missing in action, but Petters is just like, nope, put him here.
I mean, honestly, he kind of deserves it. Like, 34 issues. Like, that's ridiculous.
He deserves something, but there's no explanation as to where he's been, pretty much.
Yeah, it's just like, he's here all of a sudden.
Yeah. And, well, I wish that was the worst thing I could say. What is the obsession with having horrible things happen to Bunny recently? This is not okay. The nanites are, like, absorbing her? It's really fucked up to look at.
They seem to be, like, assimilating her or something. It's really... I mean,
it had to be one of the characters, and might as well be the one that's already suffering, I guess.
We don't need our characters suffering more. I mean, they suffer enough.
Personally, I think that horrific concepts are perfectly fine and raise the tension. And so, characters should suffer a little bit.
But I think my problem is just like, these comics consistently pick on the characters that are already suffering.
That is a weird trend, I'll admit.
Like, constantly picking on Sally, now Bunny. Like...
Yeah, there's... how do I say it? There's certain ways that stories handle characters going through pain, and I've noticed that pretty distinctly, the Sonic comics treat male and female suffering very different, which is part of the discomfort. It's not that I have any problem with any one specific instance of it. In this case, it's like, it's science fiction bullshit. I think the fact that it looks so scary is part of it. It's not that big a deal in this case. Because, I mean, it's nothing like last week. But,
right.
Yeah, Sonic jumps on Snively because he thinks he's the one doing this, but Snively's actually trying to stop it.
Yeah, at the very least they got that right, which is that I guess somehow Snively has been plotting this whole time.
Of course he has.
Shows up right now right when everything is about to go down. I could headcanon maybe that, you know, he was watching Adam because Adam was obviously a big threat. Ignan didn't realize. And so when he made his move, he was ready to counter it.
Right.
That's what I
I
assume.
mean,
And
that makes as much sense as anything else.
well, and Snively wants to rule the world, but I think he's enough of a
Right.
pragmatist that he's not going to think like, oh, I should just let this be.
Well, if he lets this be, there's not going to be a world to rule.
They kind
Not
of
the way he
touch on
wants
that
it.
actually, which
Right.
is that. Well, they're like, why would Robot create something that could clean his clock? Which is a weird way of putting. I think that it seems way too destructive for Eggman's style.
Yeah, no, this is clearly not Eggman's style.
Well, because the impetus for all of this is that, a gray goo event is nanites consuming all matter of any type. And this is kind of the contradiction of this issue, because the idea is that Adam just doesn't know when to quit, essentially, or his nanites, whatever. I don't know how exactly these are acting, whether they're completely autonomous or what. But we're going to see in the conclusion to this that exactly what it does and doesn't consume is super inconsistent. But,
Well, so maybe we should save it, but
yeah.
Adam operates on weird rules. That's what I've noticed.
Yeah,
What's
kind
also
of.
weird is that Snively explains, "Oh yeah, so this is just a technology that like Eggman came up with when building another Metal Sonic, and I guess he just never thought that it could be used for this." He's like, oh, "Okay, cool, make a Metal Sonic real fast." Nah, I'm sure those nanites aren't useful for anything else. It's just really funny.
That doesn't. Well, and that. You know what? No, that actually seems kind of in place for Eggman, because he'd create something for one express purpose and not think about, well, shit, it can be used for this thing, obviously.
Eggman
That
not
is
seeing the
kind of
potential.
Eggman's style, yeah.
Yeah.
It
It is funny though that if it's meant for quick production of Metal Sonics, still not actually mass producing them though, only one at a time.
It's true.
Because there has to be one Metal Sonic.
Yeah, he has to be able to pump them out one at a time, but fast.
Oh, of course. Anyway, so this is where the switch from Gray to Bigley is, and it's very, very weird.
It is weird, but Bigley's art is looking somewhat better than last time we saw it.
I'd say worse, actually.
I don't know. I
Maybe
feel
it's
like
the
it looks
flatter
somewhat better.
colors, but some of the faces look really fucked up. And
Maybe
I like
it's
this,
just.
I like this panel where Sonic says, "Sounds like a need for supersonic speed," and I cannot think of a more Humpty Dumpty walk pose that he is using in this image.
That is silly.
I still can't help but like Bigley's art because it's just so weird.
Well,
and
I feel like
engaging to look at.
some
I
of the
can't take my eyes
characters
off of it.
Some of the characters look mostly fine. I think Fiona more or less looks fine, but Amy just looks like she's a different person in every frame.
Mina's face looks like shit in most of these panels.
Yeah, I think this top one on 17, she looks okay, but pretty much the rest of these, I think I realized what Bigley's biggest problem is. His proportions are all off.
They seem to change with every panel.
Yeah, Mina's head is growing and shrinking.
Yeah, well, because look at the bottom of the next page. Like, what's wrong with your face?
And then on the bottom, just above that, he also draws her with like pudgy cheeks.
She got like chipmunk cheeks. Yeah,
it's fucking fascinating.
Anywho, so the plan here, Snively seems to be legit. His plan is for Mina and Fiona to set off these EMP bombs while Sonic goes to save Bunny.
Which, that makes sense. EMP.
Yeah, that could probably shut down a nanite, I guess, since they are microcomputer robots.
Yeah, they're machines. They need electricity in theory, so EMP is a perfectly effective plan.
Yeah. So Sonic goes running to save Bunny. Again, not conveying the sense of speed as he has this very stilted running pose as he's getting toward her. And I think what happened here is that so when Gray draws Bunny getting attacked by the nanites, he draws one of her eyes in shadow.
Right.
I think Bigley interpreted that as her literally missing an eye.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know. Did the nanites remove one of her eyes?
They certainly didn't.
No,
But it
I mean,
certainly looks like they did.
it looks like they did, but then a couple pages later, both eyes are fine.
Yeah, so either that's fucked up or it just looks like shit. I guess both is possible too. But yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, please don't do that. God.
And yeah, here's Sonic's extremely weird solution. So I think I get what Penders was going for, because he was drawing sort of a line out from Tails' interaction with Adam, where Tails confused him with riddles and just talking to him.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's trying to have Sonic do the same thing. But Sonic's solution is to say, Bunny is part organic, so you can't do that.
Well, no, basically, he just confuses Adam.
Yeah,
because that like Tails didn't directly prevent Adam from doing what he was trying to do.
Right.
He just distracted him.
Yeah.
Sonic is just like, oh, you're trying to make the entire world machine and overriding any living matter. But hey, look at this. This is like both working together. Isn't that weird? Adam's like, that is pretty weird. Now that you point it out, we're gonna have to think about this and shut down right now.
Yeah, no,
I just don't know why he'd give a shit, is the thing.
Are you kidding me? Have you seen Adam? He cares a lot about trivial questions.
He does, and also this is also a sci-fi trope. You confuse the big machine until it just like shuts down.
I guess
Star Trek uses it all the time.
It feels like it's not that much of a threat then.
Adam is a threat because he is super intelligent and will act on his own, and there's nothing that he won't try.
Right, but he's also like he's
also sort of childlike.
That's a good way of putting it.
It's linked to his creativity, I think, in that he will consider everything very deeply, and so you can easily distract him with questions like this. I suspect that eventually something like this will stop working, but for now, it's a pretty good tactic against him. Another thing to keep in mind is Eggman was able to like snap Adam out of it eventually, although it was too late in the issue with Tails. But here, Eggman isn't even here, so I totally see this working.
Yeah, I think it lines up.
I guess that definitely makes it more understandable. It still feels like an anticlimax, but fair enough.
I mean, it is a little anticlimactic, I'll give it to you, but it's not. It doesn't feel cheap.
I'll say this: it doesn't. I feel like even if he did do that and did stop to consider something else, he wouldn't give her robot limbs back after that.
No, that's true, but we don't need more torturing Bunny. It's okay.
Well, you're gonna get it because she kisses Sonic here, which means what exactly? Did he tell her that wasn't him before?
I don't know.
I mean, I think it's pretty clear that he didn't, because otherwise the whole romantic drama couldn't continue.
Yeah, because that's what we need more of, the romantic drama.
You just can't escape it in these comics anymore.
I'm glad that we're firing this man directly into the sun next week.
I mean, to be fair, he's not the only one in this grand scheme. He's just the latest chapter.
It's not a good chapter.
Yeah,
it's not a good chapter.
The day is saved. The Wolfpack get away. They were not involved with this mission at all. Were they alive in there? What happened?
Why were they in there in the first place? Why didn't they just turn around?
Well, it's like you'd think that Sonic and the gang would like cooperate with them, maybe like they'd
run into them. Yeah, that would be good writing.
I don't know if they even knew that they were there. Probably not.
Excuse me, not good writing. That would be competent writing.
Also, the Nanite City does not come down. It's just a big fuck-off empty city in the middle of a forest now.
Yeah, it's just there now, which is interesting.
Yeah.
I assume they'll use it later, probably.
I sure fucking hope so.
even if not, it's neat that there's some lasting damage.
Yeah,
I sure hate Control-Z plus. So
fair,
good.
Yeah, I suppose. Also,
I guess as long as they actually do something with it, I'm fine with them leaving it there.
Well, You'll have to wait a while, but yes, they do.
Okay, well that's good to know at least.
They
Also,
often take their time, but they can take their time.
Let's talk about the stinger in the ending here. Snively is now living in Knothole.
Heck yes!
Okay, so he is in Knothole now. Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, he's with the Chuck Tails Tommy Rotor gang.
The gang of scientist dudes.
Yeah.
It's the latest edition.
Also, speaking of Tommy, what the hell is going on with his neck?
Bigly.
Bigly, yeah. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, no. Snively worked with the Freedom Fighters briefly before when Robotnik showed up. So this is a neat little sort of callback to that follow-up. And yeah, well, I mean they're not super gung-ho with it, but they'll go along with it for now. And he has legitimately helped them before. So yeah, I'm interested to see where this will go.
Yeah, it is interesting.
All right, well, yeah, weird issue. It feels a little half-baked. Could have been worse, I guess.
Yeah.
Feels fine.
Yeah.
It was an interesting concept. I feel like, again, could have been expanded on more, but I'll take what we got.
Yeah. Moving on to Sonic number 153. That is a meme face if I've ever seen one.
That is 100% a meme face.
This is our first cover artist to appear more consistently now that is not Spaziant. This is the first of several covers by Sanford Green, who I think is supposed to be like a pretty praised comic artist, but his ability to draw Sonic characters is questionable.
Yeah, I mean this covers, other than the meme face, it's mostly fine.
I mean, the face kind of reminds me of the prototype Sonic Unleashed cutscene face.
Mm.
You know, the one where he has the weird scream expression.
Oh yeah,
but yeah. So it's dynamic, but
it's definitely dynamic. I think the next two covers are a little more.
Yeah, there's gonna be some weirdness. Anywho,
yeah.
The story itself is Songoose, written by Carl Ballers and drawn by Ron Lim. So this two-parter is the final bit of work that Carl Ballers did, although this was published after he was already gone.
Mm.
I didn't even notice this was Ballers.
Neither did I. That's interesting.
Yeah. The Freedom Team struggles to enjoy their relaxation time as Mina Mongoose's concert is beset by an assassination attempt.
Yes, their downtime of fighting each other.
Yeah, this is this is really funny. Is that we start with this sparring session between Sonic and the Chaotix, and Bunny and Tails, and Armand basically says, "Yeah, these teenagers need to get out their aggression, so we're having them kick the shit out of each other."
You know what?
It's just training.
Yeah, it's training. And honestly, it does make sense, yeah. Also, I think I finally realized what Ron Lim can actually draw. It's fight scenes.
Yeah.
Like, these look quite good. And then right afterwards...
I would like to point out that this isn't actually where we start the story. We actually start the story with Knack, who's taking another job from Eggman. He should know better than to do this. Like, dude betrayed you. Do not take jobs from Eggman.
At least once, maybe twice.
So that will be happening. That's going to be our assassin.
Indeed. And I want to note that this sparring session between Sonic and Tails and the Chaotix, there's one page where it looks like there's two Tails because Ray is miscolored as Tails.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Wow.
Anywho, yes, so Fang's being hired to carry out the assassination. Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Mighty, SBO, Bunny, and Ray are all beating the crap out of each other. And I mentioned that thing about the aggression, getting the aggression out, because Sally says, this should help with any aggression, considering any inappropriate behavior that could hurt the team. And then there's an editor's blurb that says, check out Sonic 150/151 for all the inappropriateness.
Oh
which,
my God.
one thing, fucking hilarious thing to put in an editor's note. For another thing, Still very confused as to what we know or don't know about this, especially since this is a comic that was written before any of that, since Ballers was already gone by this point and then edited.
Right. That's, yeah.
But in any case, I do like this one bit with Armand, who is in poor health, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And lamenting that his son sucks right now, not knowing that it's not his son at all.
Uh-huh.
But he specifically phrases it as his son growing up too fast because, let's remember, Ballers didn't plan on Antoine being a doppelganger.
Right.
And actually, Max is not at 100% either. He says we learned that they're both in poor health.
To be fair, it's a little hard to tell with Max because he always looks like he's in poor health.
Oh,
yeah, I mean, the
guy is super stressed.
Oh yeah, no, I get why.
Until a few weeks ago.
I get why.
Yeah, although Max is not at the point of collapsing on the floor, which the general does.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you said like that this was a Ballers written, and I didn't even notice it was Ballers written because I thought, oh, this is very clearly following up from the Penders plot line. Because the general is like, oh yeah, as you said, he's lamenting Anton, which yeah, you could easily write that as the previous plot line.
Sure.
He collapses, and then in the next scene, Bunny says that Antoine didn't even flinch upon hearing that his father collapsed, which I think, if he was war-hardened, he would still show some concern, surely, for his father. I thought that was most definitely indication that Patch obviously doesn't care about someone who's not his
wouldn't
father.
be surprised if some of this had to be rewritten.
That's what I'm thinking, is that they probably rewrote a bunch of parts of this because,
right?
You know, we mentioned that dialogue about 150, and yeah, and I don't know, you know, what parts of this, you know, if Ballers did have him collapse at all, I don't know who would have been responsible because, spoiler, they're not just sick, they're being poisoned.
Right.
Which you could probably guess by the fact that it's two people and not just one.
Yeah.
But in any case, the issue's not actually about that, is the thing. This issue is actually about Mina's concert.
Yep.
Yeah, who cares about the king and the general dying? Let's talk about pop stars.
Yeah. We discovered that Mina was a better singer than a freedom fighter a while back. Please disregard the previous issue. But she's now super popular for it, enough to get big billboards hanging suspended from trees, I guess that must be.
I mean, you gotta wonder how many big musical stars there even are in Knothole.
I want to hear Chuck's singing voice. Bet he sounds like old man Johnny Cash.
Hell yeah.
As they're going to the concert, more drama. I knew it was happening eventually, but Tails gets nervous around Fiona, as he has been before, but now, like, the characters actually acknowledge it, and Sonic is like, oh shoot, I better save him, create like a diversion, basically. Which, yeah, good job, I guess. But then when he starts talking with Fiona, the editor just straight up gets it wrong. Because Fiona is like, you should be more, like, respectful to me or whatever. And the editor thinks that they're talking about something that didn't happen. But they're clearly talking about the bit when she was abandoned accidentally in jail, which is what they go on to explain. So
exactly.
Think, oh yeah, Fiona was at 150 when Evil Sonic was sleeping with everyone. No.
I don't know.
And it's strange because Sonic's like, Tails, a lot of respect for you. And she says, respect? You should have thought of that before. And she means, before, when you left me in that prison camp, which that wasn't entirely his fault, but whatever. It makes sense that she would still be hurt by that. But yeah, the editor being like, Evil Sonic tried to make a pass. That didn't happen in that story. She was not in that comic.
Yeah.
Although, not that I wouldn't believe that. It's just we didn't see that.
Right.
I mean, I guess I'd believe it because it was written by Penders, but I thought Fiona is even less likely than Bunny was.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything yet, but yeah.
Oh no!
This does have.
Oh well, okay, yeah, okay.
This does have one thing, which is that, we do actually get an insight into Fiona's character here, which is why it's funny that the editing blurb has nothing to do with that. Because she said that, she was hurt by being abandoned, but she also knows that it wasn't really Sonic's fault, but she still holds a lot of resentment for that. And I think that that's a realistic character trait to give her. I also think Ballers was probably trying to do something here with her calling Sonic selfish for that, because that's the same thing that Sally calls him when she slaps him in the face. And since both are cases of Sonic is choosing between some girl and being a hero, I don't know what the point is, but I noticed it.
Yeah.
Okay.
In any case, yes, Tails crushing on Fiona is mega cringe, no like.
I don't blame Tails.
No, I don't blame him, but
I do wish that the writers would resolve this promptly, whereas they're drawing it out, which means it's going to be painful.
It's gonna be painful and take a fucking millennium.
I think that's the ultimate thing, is that these comics, I've been speculating, like, are we going to think that the classic era is better than the adventure era comics-wise? And the answer is maybe, but the thing that I've noticed is that the adventure comics feel like they've gotten really repetitive with that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, honestly, they've also kind of felt like they've gone on forever.
Which is strange, because this is several weeks shorter than our classic coverage.
Yeah.
But in any case, it's time for the concert. So they head backstage. They say hey to Mina. Ash and Sonic snark at each other, because of course they do.
Nothing new there.
Man, it feels like they're just really trying to get us to hate Ash.
They're failing epically, because, like...
I just find him annoying.
I see both sides of it, because on the one hand, from a premise scenario, I definitely want Mina to be done with Sonic and have somebody else.
Yes.
On the other hand, Ash is a prick. He just...
Yeah.
He has very little going for him.
His only personality trait the writers have given him seems to be fuck Sonic.
This is the reason I can't hate him, because he's not a character to hate.
Yeah, fair enough.
No, that is fair.
But yes, so Mina gives a allegedly great performance. As usual, not much we can get out of just reading comics of it. But it's time for Knack to make his move. He pulls out this thing. I assume it's a gun. It's
a blaster.
It's a weird high-tech gun. I'd like to point out... I don't know what it is. It's just a weird design.
No, you know what?
Pew blast.
One of the unlockable weapons in Shadow the Hedgehog is that orbital strike gun. It looks like that. I don't know if you guys picked that one up ever.
I don't think I did.
Okay.
I believe you that it exists.
Yeah, I'll believe you.
I'm surprised you didn't already point out. The concert is taking place at Sunset Hill, which is neat reference. I didn't expect to actually see a location from the games. I thought we were just going to get cheeky references like that, so that's neat.
Yeah.
I just didn't notice the box that said it, and frankly, this tropical island area could be basically anywhere.
There's so many tropical islands in this series.
Also, that's making me wonder, is Sunset Hill a separate location from Green Hill, or is it just the name Green Hill gets at sunset?
Don't worry about it.
No, I didn't think about it too hard.
Don't think about it too hard, Devin.
Sonic Advance 3 is about the world being split into pieces, so... Yeah, this is a dumb track to go down. Anyway, Fang shoots at her and lights a palm tree on fire. Did he just miss? I guess... Oh yeah, he did miss. A guy bumps his arm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is funny that is just what Knack does now, is he just shoots people. That's his new character.
He shoots Mina.
Well,
he shoots
trying.
Mina specifically.
Oh, that's true. Specifically, I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
That's really funny. It does make me wonder why he's brought a flame gun instead of just his bullets, but I guess
flame gun is more. Hey, as long as it kills Mina, Eggman doesn't care how it's done.
No, you know what? Lim had no confidence in his ability to draw firearms. He knew he couldn't upstage Axer. Anyway, he sets a palm tree on fire, but Sonic and Bunny come to the rescue and knock Fang out.
Yeah, he's taken out really easily.
Yeah, well, Bunny knocks down the palm tree into the water.
Yeah.
Which is a fucking rad way of putting out a fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so then we slam Fang in jail, And well, it's funny because he doesn't really want to talk, but Sally threatens to throw him in with his bitter ex-partners from the previous comic.
That's great, like that.
Also,
Surprised we remembered they existed.
I forgot that they even reappeared at all. I don't think it's again after this. Although again, like with the Dulcie shit from before, I can't make any too conclusive claims because I just have not read the comics well enough to remember exact.
Well,
we do see that the guy that Max maybe killed off screen is not dead. So
right.
Oh shoot, you're right.
Maybe they have necromancy.
Well, that would answer a lot of weird questions and raise many, many more. But I love this conversation because Knack blabs that Eggman hired him to kill Mina because he really hates her music.
To be fair, this has been established before. Eggman hates music.
Oh, I know. Yeah. It's very classic Robotnik.
Oh, yeah, no. Awesome. It threw me off for a second before I remembered that little fact, and then I'm like, no, this tracks. I like that.
Well, I love it because we've been getting like serious plot lines with like world-ending threats, and then Eggman turns on the radio once and he hears bad music, and he's like, "Make it stop!"
What he thinks is bad music.
Well, yeah, bad music to his ears.
I mean, who knows? So he's like, all right, time to hire a hitman.
Anthony Eggtano is too critical of my music taste. It's like I'd love for the punchline to be that Mina's music actually is just like fucking terrible.
Yeah, well, hey, I mean, we can't hear it. We'll never know. But it's like, yeah, and the Mobians just like, or the people of Knothole just can't tell because they've never heard good music.
Very, very, very fun part of this. So Sally basically assigns the Freedom Fighters as Mina's bodyguards for the rest of the concert. I feel like if this happened in real life, they would cancel the concert, but I guess it's like a show of strength to keep going even after an assassination attempt.
Also, I'd like to point out, Sally just says Sonic's going to be her bodyguard.
That's true.
Oh, it's the next issue that for some reason all the Freedom Fighters are there.
It's because if she assigned all of the Freedom Fighters, then we wouldn't be able to make Ash jealous because he's so insecure.
I guess, yeah.
I do like the exchange where Ash is like, "What can he do that our regular bodyguards can't?" And Sonic says, "Keep her breathing." giving him his old zingers.
Not even a particularly good zinger.
No, not really. Anyway, so Eggman unveils the next part of his Mina killing plan, which is Heavy and Bomb.
Yes, the best hitmen, Heavy and Bomb.
I mean, they were actually extremely effective last time we saw them.
Actually, that's true, they were.
Yeah, it's really weird that they were established as, like, Eggman turncoats before that worked with the heroes and were like, they were not interesting characters, but they were characters.
Well,
now
they weren't
just badniks.
They weren't turncoats. They were reprogrammed.
I thought they were.
Didn't the
power gems give them free will or whatever? I thought that was what happened.
Is that what happened? I don't know.
I'm 90% sure that's what happened.
Maybe that is what happened. It was so long ago that my brain doesn't honestly care.
Yeah, my point was just that they were on the heroes' side before, and now they're just cookie cutter villains. Which is
they're just robots now, which is interesting.
Well, see, I just see it as once again another show of Eggman means business. He's like, oh, what?
Damn,
my predecessor couldn't control his own robots. Pathetic. And then he takes control of Heavy and Bomb, and yeah, now they're just mindless machines.
Yeah, this is definitely a bit of Eggman showing that he is superior to Robotnik.
Finally rocking their actual Chaotix designs here, I might add.
That's true, yeah.
I love that.
Bomb, they don't have faces anymore, essentially.
Which is a good way to show that they're not really characters anymore.
Exactly.
Not that they were really ever characters in the first place.
Not a ton.
They existed.
They sure did.
Speaking of not really being characters, you want to move on to the second story here?
Do we have
It has
to?
something to do with not being characters, but sure, let's go.
I mean, one of them is a character.
Well, because this is Fairy Tale or The Adventures of Pirate Sally, Chakon and Mawini. While those three kids Mina usually cares for are sick or something, Rosie Woodchuck tells them a story of Sonic and the gang reimagined as fantasy characters because that's never been done in these comics before. And when I say not really a character, I mean, like, who are any of these people? They don't...
They're just kids.
Rosie's the most established character here. These kids, yeah, we've only really seen them as the kids that Mina takes care of, or used to. The three children?
Yeah.
You really, okay, like, I get some characters, yeah, they're pretty disappointing. But, like, I don't expect the writers to characterize a group of kids. That's fine if they don't. They don't show up very often at all.
I'm being very facetious, yes. These characters, they're not even here to be characters. They're here to be a framing device for this this filler story, to end all filler stories. I don't know. That's not even true, but...
I like that when they launch into the fairy tale here, that Chakon made a conscious choice to not cast Naugus as the wizard, and instead cast Eggman as the wizard, or I guess this is actually just Robotnik, or actually it's Kintober.
Yeah.
Which is weird. Why would he be Kintober? Usually he's Kintober when he's good, and he's still evil here.
He tore off Tails' tail.
No, that was Rouge, and that's actually really funny. I like that.
That was Rouge, but...
That's honestly the most novel thing about this story, is that we have this pirate universe that is... Well, it's basically just the same thing, except Sally has an eye patch now. Like, they don't... Why would Bunny still have robot limbs in the pirate... Whatever.
It's robot pirates.
Shut up. Specifically, the fact that the conflict here involves Tails having one of his tails stolen by the rogue assassin who is Rouge, who is the only character keeping this from feeling like it came straight out of 1993.
Yeah, instead it comes out of like 2001.
2004, 2005.
Whatever. Well,
Sonic
no, I know
Rush was coming out.
No, I know when the comic actually came out, but like SA2 was like 2001, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So yes, we have this colorful cast of characters. You know, it gives us a second of old school Antoine, I guess, as Ant the Fool, because of course it does. But we have to go up against all of these villains, and you know, Lauren, you're mentioning how they cast the wizard as not the wizard. Naugus is instead the Naugus Rider, which I guess is like a play on the Nazgul, maybe?
That's what it reminded me of, at least.
Mm.
I didn't remember the Nazgul getting beaten in exactly one panel, but sure.
This is a very short story.
It does not have a lot of page space to work with.
Yeah.
Mogul as Mog the Troll, I guess. I don't know.
Mogul as a troll is definitely accurate.
Well, it's really funny because post-reboot, Naugus's species becomes the Trolls, but...
Oh, interesting.
Anyway, I don't know how much I have to say about this, really. They have the things that they need, and they fight the dudes, and they get the things that they want.
It is pretty snappy. There's not a whole lot going on. They don't have a lot of space. My only comment is, at the end, I like the gag when the kids start reading into the story too deep. Like, one of them's like, I don't understand the character's individual motivations.
Damn, it's the three of us.
Yeah.
This is the other most interesting thing about this story. I bet you anything that this was Chakon, especially if Chakon is Gabri, like, writing part of his frustration about, like, the letters to the editor they keep getting about how the stories in his comic are not great.
I mean,
and in response, he writes a really, really lazy story, I guess.
I don't know, maybe.
Making fun of them.
Like, hey, guys, you could be getting this all the time. Appreciate what you get.
God help us.
Write in, or else I'll do more of this.
Oh, no.
All right, moving the things along to Sonic number 154. What is going on with your hair and your face?
Yeah, both of their faces are,
And the straps on your shoes,
yeah.
are they made out of rock? Very, very odd.
Yeah.
It actually, in all honesty, I kind of like the slicked back hair for Sonic. He looks like he combed it.
Sonic honestly doesn't look half bad. It's Mina here that's really...
She's kind of wall-eyed.
Her face is like... She looks a bit like a pug.
Yeah. Song Goose Part 2, Ballers and Ron Lim. Sonic and friends struggle against an army of bombs as Eggman continues to attack Mina's concert. And, yeah, Ash, I forgot that Ash basically said what I did, which is that this isn't worth it, you should probably just cancel the concert.
Yeah, I mean, first time I think I've agreed with him.
Well, because, like, this annoys Eggman, obviously, but that's probably not worth endangering Mina's life, or that of others, especially since there's gonna be bombs here.
You know, just do the concert, live stream it.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what they would do nowadays, isn't it? They'd just be like, alright, I'll do this in my house.
Yeah, we'll do it from a fucking, studio. But no, this is 2000 and, fuck you.
I wonder, was
these
Skype
characters
even
have
around?
never been shown to have video streaming capabilities. That's never happened.
Skype was around at this point, so...
Maybe they were still concerned about Eggman hijacking the airwaves.
Yeah, I mean... Yeah.
Everybody still doesn't have TV, so...
That's
they're
true.
not concerned at all that Knothole is so unconcealed that Eggman can easily just send agents in and they get past all... Do they have any defenses, even? Seems like they don't.
If he knows where the city is...
Yeah, he knows where it is,
why doesn't he launch a fucking missile?
Yeah, I mean, he easily could.
He has nukes.
I don't think he does right now.
He could probably
build similarly.
He could just build a big old missile.
He could definitely, he could definitely build missiles. It seems that he always has to scavenge to find nukes.
I guess he doesn't need a nuke still. He could just use a missile. I mean, a larger missile will take out most of Knothole.
Yeah.
I guess the implication here is that Ash is arguing in bad faith, though, because he hates Sonic, and he mentions, because he looks at the lyrics of her songs and he says, all of your song lyrics are written about Sonic.
Jesus Christ. Is he really that insecure?
I don't know if he's insecure or if he's, again, meant to be right. He tries to break up with her over this, though.
Yeah.
I think he's pretty clearly insecure, because, spoiler, this doesn't last very long at all.
It lasts, like, a total of about, 10 pages?
The problem with Ash's character is that when they showed up, I'm like, oh, good. We're done with the drama. And then he actually just served just to dial it up even more. It's very disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because he specifically says, say you don't love Sonic. It's like, this is a... Okay, I was about to say, this is a cartoon character. Yeah, dumbass, it's a cartoon comic book. But, like... He doesn't seem very multifaceted, does he?
It's true.
Anywho, Mina is nothing if not a trooper, though, because we're continuing the concert after all that anyway. And I don't know. It's weird that we have that scene, and it's not like she goes for Sonic after this. She's just sad. Ugh.
Yeah.
As usual. Anyway, here's the Bomb Army. Bomb Army, please save us.
Thank God.
I was really surprised to just have another bomb army invading Knothole. Like, that's quite a callback.
I like that they're actually holding the combi rings from Chaotix.
Oh yeah, they are.
Yeah.
I don't know what they do since they're not tethered to anything, but... So yeah, Freedom Fighters are going to take care of the bombs while Sonic gets Mina out of the way. I guess the entire crowd manages to scatter. It's weird. It's crazy because one dude yells bomb, people go running, and then the very next page, the whole place is empty except for the heroes.
So here's the thing that
it's
everyone is like, oh, this is an assassination attempt. You gotta save Mina. As long as Mina's safe, then it's all cool. But like, these guys wrecked the place last time. I don't get how that's suddenly sufficient and everyone else is like totally fine with that. Like, oh no, they're just trying to kill me, which I guess that's true. I get, but it's weird.
Yeah, well, and especially since here's a question: is anything different animating these bombs from before? Because Rotor just shut them down remotely last time. Like, I guess you could assume that there's a
Rotor's not
contingency built
here.
in. Oh yeah, of course. He's not important enough to be involved.
Yeah, he's not important enough, so therefore this is
His
a
taste in
problem.
music is not what is offered.
Yes.
Oh, he only wants to listen to synth Asian fusion hyper pop. I think I just made that up. Anyway,
That was like that meant absolutely nothing to anyone.
some of those words probably meant something. I bet if I put that into Google, somebody's song would come up.
Probably.
Or maybe it'd fucking AI generate a song based off that. Anyway, so we are fighting Heavy and Bomb. Ash fucking tries to start beef with Sonic while this is happening, and
Jesus Christ.
nearly gets himself killed by Heavy coming out of the ground.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
he's shaped like a big drill.
Yeah, he's big.
I'm trying to figure out what's going on with this panel of Tails throwing bombs in the water here. Like, okay, that top half makes sense. What is going on with Fiona here at the bottom? It looks like she's getting blown up.
She's
That's exactly what
dodging. Oh, I thought she was dodging over a bomb.
That's also possible, I guess.
It's really funny looking.
Yeah, it's a real silly moment.
I guess Heavy gave Sonic the idea, though, because his solution here is to tunnel into the ground and out through the lake.
Because, you know, hey, here's Sonic underwater, like 3 issues late.
Oh yeah.
That one frame in the corner with Sonic's spines all spread out like that looks ridiculous.
He's a starfish. I guess his gambit is to just get Heavy to sink in the water.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah. He's heavy.
Yeah. So Bunny pulls him out. So he's fine because I guess
Can't have
we're
Sonic
moving.
die.
I guess at this point Sonic can't actually swim. I don't know if the comics ever properly established that because we had him swimming a few issues ago, didn't we? In the Genie story.
Yes. Probably.
But it's okay. Bunny pulls him out.
Yeah.
So Mina thanks Sonic for the rescue, and Sonic's like, "Promise me we'll have chili dogs sometime." And Mina says, "Consider it a date." And it's like, ah!
No. That's a thing you do say to people.
I know, but you know that they wrote it that way on purpose.
Yeah, I know. Look.
Yes.
I don't want to think about that.
Well, we get the apology for that in the next page because Mina goes back inside and Ash is like, "Hey, I'm sorry that I'm such a fucking loser." And Mina doesn't really want to talk about it because he fucked everything up. But conveniently, there's one final bomb left.
I like this because they were a menace before, and surely an upgraded form should be even worse.
Sure.
But like that one thing, this was probably their plan all along. Honestly, I mean, it was supposed to be an assassination attempt, not like an attack. So, oh yeah, we'll just sneak in one bomb and distract them with the rest.
Yeah. And it does work on somebody because Ash is like, "No, I have to be the hero now myself." So he grabs it and runs into the next room and explodes, which reminds me of, like, I don't know, issue 2 or 3 of the original miniseries where Sonic grabs a bomb and runs into a room and explodes.
And
That
Sonic's
is
like, oh my gosh, he's dead.
That is such a deep cut.
That I love because that was the brand of romantic drama back then, which was much preferable to this.
Yeah, characters didn't even want to admit having attractions.
Right.
But this is ultimately beneficial because Ash explodes. He doesn't die, of course, but we have reset the status quo. So Mina is maybe over Sonic.
Who the fuck knows at this point?
But now she is the doting girlfriend to a recovering Ash.
This is funny that it takes near-death experiences to snap Mina out of this nonsense.
Well, it's really funny because we presumed that the whole reason that Mina was in love with Sonic before was because he saved her life, and now Ash has
Right.
saved her life, and now she's into Ash.
God.
Uh-huh.
Fuck having, like, a conventional sexuality. I am exclusively attracted to people who save my life.
I mean, yeah, I guess fair enough. I mean, how often is that going to happen?
That's like a dark path that you could put for the story. Is like Mina starts putting herself in death-defying situations to find new men.
Jesus.
Anyway, so that's it. That's the story. That is the final nail in the coffin of Ballers and the romantic drama he never wanted to write. What a much lamer note to go out on than Return of Angel Island, honestly.
It really is. Like, goddamn.
It's not even like a horrible story, it's just so
No, it's
conventional
just so,
for Ballers.
Yeah, it's just so mid.
I mean, I would say it's pretty bad 'cause it's just continuing what we've hated.
Yeah, I
It's
mean, that's
not the
fair.
worst example of it, but
That's fair.
I do like this last page with Eggman saying, "How hard can it be to kill a singing mongoose?" And Adam says, "While singing or while not singing?"
I forget how
love
much you
that.
like games.
I love that. Yeah, very on point.
Anyway, Robotnik will have a new plan in the next issue, but that's the end of this one. Except it's not, because we have a Ken Pender story.
Yay!
It's called More Than Meets the Eye, and it's written in the Transformers font.
Oh yeah, it is.
But it's written and drawn by Ken Penders.
Oh, that's why Tommy looks so fucking weird.
Yes, Knothole's gang of miscellaneous tech heads perform tests on the nanites recovered from Atom's City, but nobody can get them to work, except for Tommy Turtle.
That is a 10 out of 10 name. I shall henceforth refer to them as Knothole's gang of miscellaneous tech heads.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, no,
and Fiona. She's just there for some reason.
Is Fiona meant to be good with computers or mechanics? I didn't think so.
I thought she was supposed to be action girl.
She did some wiring back in the Shadow Complex arc.
That's true, she
I
did.
think she does have some tech skills.
Fair, yeah.
And yes, miscellaneous tech heads is my name. The
That is a
narration
great
here
combo.
actually starts referring to them as the Brain Trust.
Which, I've heard that somewhere before, and I cannot figure out where.
It's funny, I think, that we got so many mechanical or technically minded people in Knothole that we've had to put them all on, like, a big squad now.
It's wonderful. It's great. I love it because it's just.
Well,
so
we finally got smart people in Knothole, other than Rotor and Chuck.
Yeah, but
it's just funny because I can't see all of these people working together like super well, but somehow it works, I guess.
Yeah, apparently.
So, they are experimenting on the nanites from earlier tonight, but they can't get them to do anything interesting. Which, I don't know why exactly, but...
Because they're not asking them weird questions. That's the problem.
Ah, yes, that's...
I think what happens here, because it was really hard to understand when I first read it, because Tommy stays behind, everybody else... Tails says, "Let's go have a Frozzle?" What the fuck is that? Is that like a slushie, maybe?
Probably.
But Tommy stays behind, feeling useless, I guess. And he says, "I used to be put down for being small and slow. After seeing what a lot of you can do, I'm sure you guys are capable of something." And I didn't understand what was going on here first, because I'm like, what is that green dripping into the Petri dish?
They don't make it very clear.
What it is that Tommy is sad, and you can see in the above panel that he's crying, but they accidentally colored his tear green as it drips into there.
Yeah, so just like goo now.
I cried green goo, yeah.
Oh, damn.
But yes, that makes the nanites, for some reason, start resonating and coming to life.
Well, it's because Adam doesn't operate on conventional logic
Ah,
And so
yes.
before, when they're like, oh hey, we will activate it but with signals and try to command it in certain ways, it's like, nah, boring. Tommy's like, man, I'm so pathetic. What if I could prove? And it's like, oh, this is just a yes. Let's do this. I am down.
Yeah, so the nanites burst out of the petri dish and embed themselves in Tommy's shell, which
Yeah.
then sprouts wings and a jetpack.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, having being actively reading the first arc of IDW, this brought up certain images.
Yeah, but in this case, it's so silly that
It
like Penda's
is.
like, okay, Tommy is
Tommy needs something.
he's one forgettable motherfucker. How do we do this? And so the answer is apparently to grant him absurd amounts of power over something that
Yeah.
nearly destroyed the world a few days ago.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
It's very, very,
it's silly.
it's very extra, but
I like it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
yeah.
which I
It's
mean,
it's
what
tapping
else is
into a
new?
little of the old school Archie.
Kind of.
And I still don't like Penders' writing, but if he could get more on that wavelength and just do something that even something that almost feels like self-parody like this, then I would have more fun.
Yeah, honestly.
But instead, we have Sonic number 155, and oh god, it's this cover.
Oh
Yeah,
boy.
no.
One
Well,
thing we
okay.
know around this time is that Sega was unhappy with the state of Sonic media overseas, right?
Okay.
In the
Yeah.
90s, Sat AM, Adventures of Sonic Underground, Sega of Japan never went for any of that. They just completely ignored it
Right.
because they didn't see a lot of value in that. And the comics were similar, but Sonic X was starting around this time, and there was something of a canon realignment going on. The adventure games and all that
Right.
have a fairly unified feeling world, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be seeing big staff changes next week, and one of the reasons that Penders always cites is a story that we don't have a real source on, but he says is true about a Japanese Sega executive happening upon this comic in a shop in an unrelated overseas trip and being bewildered at the sight of Sonic moping in tears over his girlfriend being engaged to another man. I think it's probably not super true. I think it's, this was already the way the wind was changing. But this is a good example of something that Sega would have a problem with nowadays, certainly.
Yeah, definitely.
What's Pender's getting at there? Is he like, oh, bad luck, those meddling people from Japan? Like,
Well,
because it sounds like he's just
That is a
proving
fair
that
question.
the status of the comic was bad and it needed to be changed.
Yeah, honestly,
Yeah.
it
Well,
does kind
I
of feel
agree.
that way.
Like,
Pender's-
what's your point?
Penders always cites too much control from Sega around this time as his reason for leaving. So I think he was meaning to frame it in the sense that, like, he thinks this cover and this issue are good, and he thinks it's an injustice that somebody would want to take that away.
Jesus. Okay.
Funny.
Interesting.
In any case, this is Line of Succession, Part 1, Penders and Fry. And finally, James Fry drawing a full story again. Like, we saw him for just a little bit earlier, but now he's actually back, and he'll be there in the early Flynn run as well. So, emotions run high when Sally's parents and Antoine return to Knothole. With the king in bad health, he demands that Sally take the throne before he dies, with Antoine as her king.
Okay, yeah, you just laid that out right there in the summary.
I mean, yeah, I think that's fair to do.
I'm not going to
maybe I
react
should've-
to it yet, though.
Yeah, no, we don't need to react to it yet.
So,
To start, I like this beginning actually, which is that you may have been able to pick up on it before. I didn't notice it, but now you get confirmation that Patch is up to no good,
Right.
poisoning the king, which is yes, that's very evil. Good.
yeah, and I'm realizing now, they're not actually at home in this scene. They're in
No.
a different, unrelated castle.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, well, so they've been going around trying to drum up support. I assume this was some other kingdom or something.
Yeah,
Maybe it's Mercia. That would be, I guess, the most sensible
that's
place to put it.
possible. Yeah.
Maybe I feel like we haven't seen a whole lot of Mercia though.
Yeah, not since it blew up. So maybe they
Right.
rebuilt it in the
Oh yeah,
past too.
that's true. Yeah.
So Patch Tuan brings Max.
Next one.
He says your evening nightcap. So I assume that's like an actual drink. But it's important because he drinks it and immediately is like, "Oh, I'm so fatigued." So yes, they're being
Maybe
poisoned.
maybe it was a tranquilizer.
Yeah, ketamine.
Jesus.
Is ketamine a tranquilizer?
It's horse tranquilizer if I remember correctly.
Okay, I'm glad I didn't hallucinate that. But yeah, I feel like that would have been like an obvious pattern-seeking brain moment, but maybe not.
Well,
But-
when you're feeling ill, your brain is probably not working so well anyway.
Sure,
Oh,
yeah.
it's
So-
brain poison. Gotcha.
The best kind of
You
poison.
realize, of course, that poison
No.
affects the whole body.
No, I know. I'm being a dick. It's okay though. This is a better scene than what comes next because oh joy, what the fuck is this, Ken?
Okay, well, first of all, I really like that it's drawn as if Tails is getting whacked with the editor's note at
Right.
the bottom when he
I do like
knocked
that.
back in shock.
Yeah,
That is
I
really clever.
I
I
do like
agree.
that.
I am
I love
also
you,
shocked
Fry.
because okay,
But
yeah.
okay. So we understand that Evil Sonic has framed Sonic for a lot of
Right.
making out with people, and it's been unclear exactly where we stand on that. But now we went from Sonic kissing Bunny a couple times. Now he's just kissing Fiona? What?
why Fiona of all people?
Yeah,
This is a very confusing scene.
the thing is that last issue or the issue before that, whichever it was, Sonic said, Tails has a lot of respect for you, which was him trying to politely tell him that this kid is whacked out down bad for you. But I think the implication is that Fiona simply doesn't understand that that's what's going on.
Yeah.
because she doesn't know that Tails even knows who she is until Tails mentions that the robot Fiona
The
existed.
robot, right? Which, why does she know the robot existed?
Well, because they were making them at the prison camp where they were being held, I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
they were okay. Oh yeah, that's right. Because we also saw a Sonic robot there.
Yeah.
I think.
But of course, Fiona obviously turns him down because, a robot that's based on me as an 8-year-old is not me.
10-year-old.
Oh.
Same difference.
Anyway.
I mean, yeah, there's not much difference there.
Obviously, she turns him down, so Tails freaks out and screams in Sonic's face before running off in, honestly, what are kind of hilarious-looking drawings.
I hate to laugh at crying Tails, but it is funny.
It's similar to the thing with the slap, where you have this very goofy art punctuating a moment that I don't think is supposed to be that goofy. The
No,
difference
it's
here
not.
is that I just don't take Tails seriously at all.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, it's such an overreaction out of the blue. It makes no sense.
Well, I mean, he's a kid. Of course, he's gonna have an overreaction.
I feel like
true.
somebody should have explained to Tails first that this Fiona is not the one he knew.
Well, I think
he
he
knows that.
no, he understands that completely. He's
He
just
says as much.
he developed a crush on the robot, and now that the real person is here.
I understand that. I just mean that somebody
It's-
should have given him the advice of backing down before then. But I
Yeah,
guess
that
nobody
that
in these
someone
comics-
should have been Sonic.
Yeah, but nobody in these comics can navigate the relationships well.
Especially
so it almost
because
doesn't
Sonic's
surprise me.
been the one trying to keep him from the heartbreak.
Yeah.
So-
Instead, he does possibly the worst thing, which is getting rid of that girl.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, what
very,
the heck?
very-
What the heck? First of all, why is Sonic doing that? Second of all, Fiona was like,
Yeah.
I don't like you, even though I should have no reason to not like you. Like, I can't blame you, but I just,
Yeah.
yeah, this is completely, it's almost like they're just trying to draw out the drama.
Yeah.
By any means
Hmm.
possible.
Well, let's get to the drama these issues are actually about, which is everybody arriving home. Dr. Quack, my notes say Dr. Quake, Dr. Quack, examining Max and prescribing some medicine, but handing the bottle to Antoine.
I have a question. Quack here looks more like classic Quack, but this is still Fry. Did Penders tell him, hey, you drew him wrong?
it was gray in the other issue. He still has the eye patch at least, right? Didn't he
Yeah.
not have that before?
Yeah, he got the eye patch. God, when did he get the eye patch?
He got it the first time he appeared in the Slap issue when Sonic got back from space.
Was that when he got the eye patch? I thought he had it before that.
No, because I think they said that he got blown up over the time skip.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah, that was the eye patch. Okay.
But yes, this isn't his normal clothes. It's not his headband.
Yeah, he's got the regular doctor's outfit on.
Yeah, so it's possible that Penrose was like, no, don't use Gray's good design for the character. So Sally comes in to talk to Daddy, who is, yes, stepping down for his health and appointing her queen early. And we are after how many issues has it been? More than 100?
In a while.
I don't know when the first issue was that he said he wanted Sally to marry Antoine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been more than 100, yeah.
It's been well over 100.
But he is forcing that now, and God, I hate that.
So, I don't hate this as much as I hate what's going to happen, because this is at least in line with what I kind of expect. Max has never gotten better, and he never will, unfortunately. This is totally a ploy that Patchtron would try. I have no problems with the way Patchtron is at Patchtron. I'm just calling Patch because it's his actual name. That Patch is doing here. This is a very clever plan, actually.
When I say that I hate this, I just mean that this, again, is not what I want out of these stories. I'm not saying that it's not what Max would do or what Patch would do.
Right.
It is made better by the fact that we know this isn't the real Antoine. Because if this had been the real Antoine, then we would have been like, oh, but Bunny, this and that, yada yada.
Yeah, that would be absurd.
Right.
But it is annoying because Baller's already had Max okay Sally to marry Sonic, but now we're slapping her back in an arranged marriage since that didn't work out.
Well, I mean, to be fair, that relationship fell apart.
Yes, so he's like, "Oh shoot, I'm dying. Better
I'm dying, and I want exactly. Antoine's the closest alternative now, so fuck it."
Yeah, well,
yeah, it's not great, but it's
I think what Lauren is probably annoyed at is Sally's reaction to all this, which is she gets upset with him, and as usual, is yelling and protesting. But she ends off with, "How could you?" which is not the same as, "I'm not doing that."
Yeah, she doesn't just say, "No, go to hell."
She capitulates.
Good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just run away at this point.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. Why would she agree to this? That this is not... No matter how much Sally has suffered, they usually haven't worked her character to do things that are very much not Sally. Right. This is a new low for these comics.
She has been completely broken at this point. She's just like, yes, I'll do whatever Daddy says. I can't deal with this anymore. If you wrote something this way on purpose, it would be a good tragedy, but it's not.
Yeah.
He just submits, and, well, things aren't looking good for the others either, because Sonic and Bunny, or rather, Bunny brings Sonic in the news and is understandably upset about this.
Oh yeah, she's broken. I mean, we've got two characters that are broken now.
We've seen how
they're more broken.
All this. Literally worst timeline answer to all of these character questions.
And it really is.
But Sonic is not so quick to take this lying down. He'll have to wait another issue for that. But he gets the news and immediately rushes to the castle where Patchtron waiting for him and actually manages to best him with his swordplay.
I like this because it's pretty clear that Sonic, I mean, he isn't rude to Antoine.
No,
anymore,
he isn't.
But he still underestimates him.
Yeah, he's definitely. Well, I think he underestimates Antoine, and that's even worse with Patch, because Patch is probably just as, if not more, skilled with the sword.
Oh, he's more skilled, certainly.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't really seen Antoine do a whole lot of impressive sword stuff. Let's be honest here.
Exactly, but we have seen the character that is now retconned to be Patch doing impressive stuff since the home arc.
That's true. That is true.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, it's like Sonic underestimating Antoine is very much proving to be not a good idea.
Yeah, so well, and it's like the inverse of the fight against real Antoine and the other anti-freedom fighters, because Sonic would be going full force against them, but here he's probably holding back. So maybe he couldn't best him if he tried to friggin' kill him, but he doesn't want to do that because this was ostensibly his friend at one point.
Right.
There's this weird scene where Patchtwan goes up to Sally and actually mentions that he doesn't want to marry her either, but is doing it out of, like, sovereign duty or whatever.
Which is bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what do you mean?
He doesn't
That's
care
a
about
bullshit that's a bullshit reason. He just wants power.
Well, I mean, yes, that's true. But yes, he's coming up with a lie that is maybe somewhat believable.
Yeah.
The only ridiculous thing here is that Sally is like, okay, sure.
And it's funny that she says, it's just that I was hoping for the fairy tale. This is the fairy tale. The fairy tale sucks. That's what being in a monarchy is.
Well, this is almost like the real versions of the fairy tales, not the sanitized Disney versions.
Oh, this is the Brothers Grimm edition.
Yeah.
Neither of them are going actually to go against this comatose old man, though. Next page informs us he is in critical condition. He's in a coma.
But kind of suddenly.
Yeah, and...
time is weird in these comics.
That, I guess, sends
time is weird, yeah.
Sally into, like, wedding hyper mode, I guess. Gotta fulfill his last wish while he's alive to not see it.
Ugh.
Uh-huh.
Sonic, on the other hand, is planning on crashing the wedding and, I guess, kidnapping Sally? Like, I think what it is, you'd think that the twist here would be that Sonic learns Patch is an imposter from the start, and so he's going to try and save the day. No, he just really doesn't want them to get married.
Yeah.
But, whatever he's planning doesn't work out because the wedding happens.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Like, okay, we end in the middle of the wedding, but Sally says I do, so, you failed, Sonic. Good job.
Good job, Sally.
Well, that's because
good job, Sonic. Right.
It's not like you couldn't easily be like, I do. Actually, I don't.
I do sure hope that you would let me answer that question. Well, but like...
I don't.
Yeah, we'll have to see next week.
Right.
Because that's where this story ends. It is not the end of the issue, though. Instead, we have a second story, which is starring Dulcie Dragon in The Price of Flame, Part 1, drawn by Art Money and written by Michael Gallagher, in case you needed any more evidence that this is not a super new story. But when a party that requires her fire breath goes awry, Dulcie rushes home to the dragon city of Vesuvio, as she can no longer breathe fire at all.
This is a funny story, and just because it's funny, it's actually the best story in this issue, because it actually has something about it.
It is very silly.
It is, yeah.
We start off with one thing that's already hilarious. A surprise pep rally to celebrate all the times Dulcie has helped the freedom fighters. Anyway, the party relies on you breathing fire on this bundle of sticks.
That's all we're gonna do. We're gonna set something on fire and then leave.
Link the flame, chosen undead. No, but she flies off crying because she cannot breathe fire? What? This is not something we've heard up to this point.
Yeah, just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
This is what the writers do with Dulcie now. They just make up stuff.
Make up stuff to make her sad.
And so we have to have a big old flashback explaining, oh yeah, actually she can't breathe fire. Did you miss that?
Yeah. Dulcie explains to nobody, I guess to the audience, her backstory of the dragons living peacefully on Mobius until Robotnik shows up, and they were exiled way outside the range of Mobotropolis. She also states that the first ever rings were forged here by the ancient walkers, which No,
I will
that's
not stand for this Nate erasure.
No.
that's not how rings work.
No.
I think Gallagher was just going for the Lord of the Rings joke. That's my guess.
Yeah, probably.
I still won't stand for it.
No, it's not true, and thankfully Future Comics don't treat it as true.
Fair.
They say the first walkers though. Is that supposed to be the ancient walkers?
I mean,
Probably.
that's what I assume they meant. Maybe it's something else.
Why don't they call them the ancient walkers? It's weird.
It's Gallagher, so that's why I assumed ancient walkers.
Well, yeah. Heard them called that before.
In any case, so apparently Dulcie going back to help the freedom fighters got her in trouble with the other dragons.
Why?
I guess because they're fucking echidnas is why. They're isolationist.
Oh my god, they are echidnas.
Well, see, they're trying to stay hidden from Robotnik because
one of them going out isn't going to help them be found.
Well, maybe actually, because the whole point was that Robotnik thought they roboticized all the dragons, except some of them hid. And so if he sees a dragon, he's like, "Hey, wait a second. There's still dragons about." And then he might actually go on a hunt. It makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it was in Sad AM. I think the thing is just that to have a society of dragons that still live somewhere, all that Dulcie has to do is not lead them back to their home, and she stayed in Knoxville most of the time anyway. So it makes sense. It lowercase m makes sense, but capital D doesn't quite work. That's a very weird way of saying that.
Well, see, Dulcie does return though, which I think is the problem.
Yes, that is true. But they say it's for hanging out with Knothole that she's getting punished for, rather than for going out on her own at all. I don't know. Anyway, the point is, Dulcie got in trouble, and they punished her by replacing her regular black nose ring with a gold one, and, okay,
this
apparently
is absolutely hilarious.
That cuts off her fire breath, and if you are wondering, yes, this is a chunk of story written to correct a coloring error.
Oh my god.
This is why the story automatically wins, because it has a big funny
stupid.
Because they made this entire story, yes, to correct a coloring error, which I didn't even notice.
Jesus.
Yeah, well, because why would you? Who cares?
Yeah. What the?
This is exactly the kind of ridiculous continuity nonsense that is actually kind of impressive.
It is impressive,
all over the top.
But Jesus Christ,
I love these comics for. This is great. keep doing this. I would love this over romantic drama. Yes, good job. You win.
I think it is funny. Yes, I think it is ridiculous that you would make a story like this, but I do also respect it, and I certainly can't talk too much shit about it, because there's an episode of Adventure Time I like that's basically the same thing, where they correct an animation error by having a giant, like, alternate universe adventure.
Jesus.
But in any case, in the plot here, we have Dulcie returning home because she's like, well, maybe they'll get rid of my nose ring that I hate. But instead, she gets home to the other dragons, and they're roboticized.
Okay, so it says army of mecha dragons. It doesn't say army of roboticized dragons.
I mean, I think it's kind of obvious that they're roboticized.
It certainly seems like it, but you could just say they were...
I guess, yeah.
Robots. The robo duplicates looked like Robians, but they weren't Robians.
Well, this is the folly of us leaving next issue for next week, because they are indeed roboticized, which means that this is another fucking chalk-on reach-around where we have a story that was written before all the shit that went down in whatever issue that was, which means that these will have to have been retconned to be roboticized by Anonymous, because Eggman isn't supposed to be able to roboticize people anymore.
Right.
Ugh.
Fucking incredible.
But that is it for tonight. And, boy, these comics are certainly in the late stages of the Ballers Penders era.
Yeah.
I think we mentioned where, like, I mentioned, like, oh, Ballers last until so-and-so, and Lauren was like, wow, Penders outlasts him? That's a shame. It's really not by that much if we count this week's stories.
Yeah.
That's true.
But
But
to be
I mean,
honest,
he doesn't have much influence at this point. This is
Right.
and to
Pender's
be
show
honest,
now.
next week we are going to have that staff change. We will be concluding our Adventure Era comics and saying goodbye to a lot of staff members, not just Ballers and Penders, but also Mawini, not Chacon actually. They get like a couple bank stories. Ron Lim, his final issues will be next week. I don't know when Axer stops drawing, although we haven't had him for a while anyway. It's certainly going to be something.
Okay then.
But the thing that I'm most realizing is that I respect Ballers more than Penders, but I am not sad to
Yeah.
see either of these people go.
Not particularly.
I am ready to move on. Despite being
Yeah.
a shorter round of comics than Classic Era, this has felt a little longer.
It's felt quite a bit longer to me.
100%.
But I don't want to. I can't dwell on that too much until next week. So for right now, that is going to be it for tonight. So thank you all so much for watching. If you like this video, please feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, criticism, feedback, corrections, we make some mistakes when talking about these, as you may have noticed. You can access any of our profiles, mostly mine, in the link tree in the description. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you to my co-host for being here. I hope you all have a great rest of your week, a great rest of your night, and take care.